Hello, everybody. My name is AJ, and I am joined today by the director of 13th Fanboy, Deborah Voorhees. And Deborah, how did 13th Fanboy all come about?
Well, thank you so much, AJ, for having me. I really appreciate it. Well, honestly, I had been kind of had it in my mind for a while that I wanted to do something that the fans would really like. And the one thing that they kept asking me for is something with the other actors from the Friday the 13th series and other slashers. And I thought, well, okay, most of their ideas had to do with basically making a Friday the 13th movie. Well, that's not an option. We can't make a 13th movie. So not without it being a fan film. And that wasn't what I was looking to do. I wanted to do something that would have a wide release. So my producing partner and I, we were having a discussion about some little kind of scary situations that had happened. And kind of stalkerish kind of feel to him. And he was like, that's our film. That's our movie. I'm like going, no, that's real life.
Yeah.
Let's not go there. Let's go someplace else.
Because I read that a while back, I think a couple years ago, or maybe a year ago, that somebody you approached for this said no, because that storyline just felt really close to them. I forget the actress's name.
It was Adrienne King.
That was it. Yeah.
And then interestingly enough, after it was written, I learned that Lar Park Lincoln had a stalker for 6.5 years, and Judy Aronson did as well. Now, Lars is the only one that I know of that was actually related to horror fans. Adrian's wasn't, and neither was the Judy Aronson's. But kind of interesting how that came about. I think people are going to love it. It's a thriller. It's a horror film. It's got slasher elements, and it's dramatic. It's a whodunit.
And it also has a better vibe to it with the cast members that's all involved as well.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. We're really super excited about that.
And that's another aspect I wanted to talk to you about, that because sometimes when horror films do that, it seems to get a little sticky. So how was it like balancing the thrilling suspense of 13th Fanboy and the meta-ness around it? Because that had to be difficult to juggle as well with the script.
Right. Well, I think that the main thing is that we stuck to today. We didn't go between the actor and its character, that person's character. They are playing themselves. They are the actor that was once in a Friday the 13th movie, or in Dee Wallace's case, Halloween.
Right.
And they are experiencing this problem from a stalker. So yeah, I think it works really well.
And talking about the cast, obviously you were in a Friday the 13th movie as well, correct?
Right.
So that had to give you some of the familyhood of this franchise to be able to connect with past stars to kind of get them on board, like a Kane Harder in 13th Fanboy and Corey Feldman. So how was it like contacting everybody? Was there anybody that you thought would say no to this, or were you pretty confident in everybody that you contacted for this?
Well, I had assumed that a certain number of people would say no to it, but yeah, for the most part, I would say people were really excited about it. Dee Wallace's remark was, "Oh my gosh, why hasn't anybody thought of this? This is great." And so, yeah, we were super thrilled to see her response.
Right. And that's the interesting thing. You know, we've been wanting a Friday the 13th film since 2009. And I'm
Right.
probably in the minority of the ones that actually enjoyed the 2009 reboot or remake, whatever they want to call it. I probably enjoyed that more than the original, which will probably get a lot of people upset. But that's how I felt when it came out.
Right.
And
Well,
uh
one thing that was really nice about that particular version of Jason was his fast moves.
yeah.
You didn't feel like you could stroll your way away from him.
And that seems to upset people, I learned. Like, even going to recent movies like Army of the Dead or Smart Vampires and stuff like that, that seems to irritate horror fans a little bit. Like, I'm just, it's just kind of a silly thing. It's the little things that irritate us so much. But,
Right.
I prefer, like, but it's people like that also call the Omega Man a science fiction classic. And they were really smart vampires in that movie as well when that came out.
Right. Right.
So, and it's cameos. I wanted to ask, of course, you can't spoil anything, but do you have any cameos in 13th Fanboy that will make a lot of people really happy to see in this film?
Well, I know a lot of people are a big fan of Carol Locatel from Part 5. She has a cameo at the horror convention. So, but everybody else has a little bit larger roles. But it was a delight because Ron Sloan, who was Junior. He was her son, and he he is actually playing Dee Wallace's husband. So we were going to have him at the convention. Well, they just kind of go together. They always do conventions together. And we thought it would be really nice for the fans to be able to see the two of them being their silly selves at a convention.
Right. And going back to the script, we all know that lawsuit's going on. So was there anything you couldn't put in the script because of the lawsuit with Friday the 13th to where maybe it made it a little bit difficult to put some parts of it in that you wanted to, or was there anything
It really
like that?
didn't. Yeah, it doesn't really affect us because we're not a Friday the 13th film. If we were trying to play in that arena, it would have been problematic because even if we could get the license for it to do it, how would we manage that?
Right.
Who do we go to? It's up in the air who we'd actually go to. So I think that would have been a difficult thing to pull off. But since we were not working in that arena, I think it worked out really well.
Yeah. And when you were filming this, I mean, you guys got so much hype from everybody within the horror community. It seemed like, from Bloody Disgusting, and a lot of big names like Joe Blow has been posting a lot recently. So
Right.
how does that feel to have that kind of promotion behind 13th Fanboy?
I feel pretty darn good about it. I'm really pleased, I have to say. Yeah, we've been really blessed with a lot of people who, like our idea, and it's always a risk when you're trying to put out a new idea, something that people haven't seen before. Some people have wrongly thought that we're going to be a little bit like Nightmare on Elm Street's version, where they played themselves and their characters. And we're nothing like that. It's completely, totally different. This is much more realistic.
Right.
Yeah, no, it's, I'm just, very grateful because, it doesn't, just because you have an idea you think is a great idea, doesn't mean the fans are going to go for it.
Right. And, Friday the 13th was kind of a grindhouse drive-in kind of movie franchise when it came out in the 80s, right?
Mm-hmm.
So do you have any plans to kind of release this in drive-ins as well? With drive-ins making a huge comeback.
We would love to have some drive-ins at some point. I don't know how that would work right now. We've got select theaters around the country right now. And, but, drive-ins often bring back older movies. So next year around Halloween, it would be perfect timing for pairing this up with another Halloween type movie.
Yeah, because yeah, and you do mention that it would be kind of difficult now because a lot of drive-ins close their season around this type of month and in
Right,
November as well. So that would even make it more difficult for you to get into drive-ins right now with this quick turnaround. But
right.
you did mention some theaters. So how exciting is that for it to actually be playing on the big screen?
Oh, it's very thrilling. I've got, people can go to 13fanboy.com, and I'm still updating our theater listings, but right now we have Los Angeles, Orange County, San Diego, Auburn, New York. I'm going to miss a lot. So I'm just giving you a taste.
Right.
Chicago, Minneapolis, let me think, Phoenix, Tucson, 2 different places in South Carolina. We
That's
have,
actually the state next to me. I'm in North Carolina right now.
oh, okay, great. I'm trying to remember them all, and I'm not remembering them at the moment, but we have probably, I think, 20 different cities right now.
Okay, that's pretty impressive for 13th Fanboy to be in 20 states right now, because it started as a crowdfunding thing, and then
Mhm.
all the response that you got with that must have been amazing too, to have so
Right.
many backers behind it.
Well, there's that. And then, we couldn't make this film on just the crowdfunding, but I do think that the fans, obviously they helped a ton because we raised really good money that way. But I think it also helped us when it came to pitching to investors to say, look at the kind of support we're getting. It was like, okay, this sounds like maybe this is a smart one to invest in.
Right. And you've been in Friday the 13th installment before. So my question to you is, which has been one of your favorites from the Friday the 13th franchise?
The first one, I feel like that one really kicked everything off. And so, yeah. And also because, in Friday the 13th, part 5 and 1, they're really very much so related. Part 5 really goes back to the original Friday the 13th, because in both of them, you have a parent who is bereaved and who is killing and harming people who had absolutely really nothing to do with their child's death.
Right. And then then there's Jason Goes to Hell, when they were trying to make a cinematic universe before the MCU and everything really kicked off. So
Right.
maybe we have Friday the 13th to thank for all the superhero universes that we have now without even realizing it.
Interesting. Yeah. That's interesting thought.
Well, Deborah, is there anything else you want to say about 13th Fanboy?
We open on October 22nd in select theaters across the US. We are going to be on multiple major VOD, in-demand, and pay-per-view platforms. I don't think there'll be anybody who can't get to a copy of 13 Fanboy on October 22nd.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Deborah. It's been really fun.
Thank you. I appreciate you. Take care.